afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. My name is Sabrina Kent. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Senior Vice President overseeing supplier diversity and programs here at the NGLCC. We are so excited to be back with you all. It's been since June since we were all together for Sip and Pitch Fridays. So really looking forward to an awesome program ahead. Before we get started, please go ahead and find the rename feature here on Zoom. That's either next to your image. There's a ... you can select, or you can find your name on the participants list, select more and rename to include your pronouns here on Zoom. That ensures that we are creating an inclusive environment and to ensure that everyone is being addressed appropriately. So with that, we are going to jump into today's program. We have some awesome judges with us today. We have Jacqueline Browning, who is Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at American Tower. We have Matt Nelson, who is an Operations Specialist at Brex. And we have Sherry Shafir, who is the Supplier Diversity and Sustainability Manager at NYU. So you're going to hear from some awesome judges today, and we also have some amazing presenters ahead for us. But before we jump into that, rules and guidelines for Sip and Pitch, as always. Each company will have 5 minutes to pitch. There will be one presenter from each participating company, and judges will have 10 minutes to deliver their feedback and Q&A. The spirit of Sip and Pitch, no presentation, no problem. This is an informal presentation program to provide real-time feedback to help companies hone in on their pitch. And if you are not speaking, we ask that you please mute your microphone. That ensures that everyone can hear everything that the judges and presenters have to share today. We have Lauren Schweppe from Team NGLCC on the line. Lauren, are you here?
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Lauren's here. She is our amazing timer. So she will provide verbal warnings at both 1 minute and at 30 seconds remaining. So presenters, please don't get mad at Lauren. We don't have the ability to hit a gong or anything exciting like that to let you know when you're coming up on time. So Lauren will be not only your visual cue for time, but also your verbal cue. Remember, this is a judgment-free zone. We're here in the spirit of feedback and collaboration. And most importantly, at Sip and Pitch, our goal is to have fun. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to our first company of the day, New York Embroidery Studio. Welcome, and feel free to share your screen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Milad. I use my pronouns he and him. I'm a design director at New York Embroidery Studio. Let me share my screen. New York Embroidery Studio is, we have full service of anything that involves any type of manufacturing, when it involves fabrics, manipulation, printing, laser cut, hand-guided machineries, Bonaz embroidery, Cornelli pleating, hot fix punch-on, bias trimming, vinyl laser cutting again, metal head embroidery, hand-beaded machinery, distress engraving, rhinestone CNC milling. So it goes on, the services goes on. I always say to my client, as long as I have a material that I can turn it into something, I can more than happy to take the job and create any fun art. We never say no for any job. It's literally, we're here to create a piece of art, basically. We've been in business for almost 15 years, I believe. So as New York Embroidery Studio caters towards various designers, we work with young upcoming designers, and we also work with like the brands like Marc Jacobs, Thom Browne, Tory Burch, and all, you know, the well-known designers in the industry. We are not just targeting the fashion brands, we target also homeware, anyone that is here to create a piece of art. We're here to help. We've done a lot of embroidery project. Again, I've worked with young designers and with well-known designers like Marc Jacobs. One of the fun projects that we've been working on, we are one of the only manufacturing in New York, in the States, that has this color reel embroidery machine that literally dyes the thread while embroidering. You don't have to select multiple threads to make an ombre or a rainbow anymore. We can literally dye the thread while embroidering. I think this is one of the coolest things that we have. We also, the way to reach out to us is to go on our website or send us an email to info@nys.co. And I can show you guys the website in a second. My Q&A question to you guys, if you have created your design and you've worked with something similar, and if you've ever thought of doing any embroidery job or any printing job or laser cutting, and is local manufacturing important to you? Again, we're a New York-based company. Let me share with you the website real quick. To launch any project with us, the way to go about it is literally you go to New York Embroidery Studio and you click on launch your project. It's a very simple way of submitting a job request, and we'll get back to you ASAP. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No
All right.
problem.
Let's go ahead and get started. Sherry, any thoughts here for Milad?
Yes, I loved his pitch. I picked up on a lot of fun stuff. We're here to help. He mentioned fun several times, never say no, simple submission at the end. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. The flexibility, having a variety of customers, even in furnishings or homeware, anything that has fabric. I thought it was I was very interested. It kept me engaged. I just really loved his pitch. It made me want to contact him, even though I don't have any need for those services at the moment. But it definitely, I want to kind of get to know him. Very friendly and approachable. And just the 15 years, he really hit on a lot of things. What's innovative about his company, having that unique color reel that simplifies and makes it fast and easy. And he demoed it, which was great. That we saw a little video in real time, so that was clever. I really loved your presentation. A question that I might ask is, like, it all sounds great. What's your biggest, I also liked how you said you asked a question. You asked, is working with a local business or, local manufacturing important to you? And I'm guessing that being local has its advantage. It's a competitive advantage. So I'm wondering if you can expand on that. Do you find that that's like a sweet spot, that being local and most of your business clients are here? And also, what is your biggest challenge in general? Those are like my two questions.
Thank you so much for the feedback. I'm really excited. I believe I get asked that question all the time, especially after we're still in the pandemic and businesses are struggling. So we get asked always, is the price point going to be very expensive? You're based in New York. Are you able to work with young designers? I'm able to do all of that. There's no problem. I can help you achieve what you want with a smaller, with your price point. Let's say you have a budget of X amount. I can work with that. The problem that I think clients have, they think right away, I can't do it in New York. It's going to be expensive, and they start outsourcing. I'm all for outsourcing. I believe everybody should get a piece of the pie, right? I do believe, though, if we're really about helping each other and making this economy in the States being great, then we all have to support each other. Local manufacturing, to me, I encourage them to just try, like start with a small development. You don't have to do a whole big project. Start with a small development. We'll take a small order. we're happy to do that. And we can work on a price point for you. We can work with like a small range, you know. So that's why I asked that question, if the people care about producing in New York. I think it's one of the greatest things. Whenever I think, I'm an immigrant myself, whenever I think of working for an embroidery studio in New York, to me, it's like one of the biggest thing I've ever dreamed of, to work for a big manufacturing in the States, especially in New York. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it's great.
Excellent. Sherry, thanks so much for that feedback and those questions. I'm going to turn it over to you, Matt, to see what thoughts you might have here for Milad.
Thank you, Sabrina. Milad, great presentation. I'm going to do a little bit of a reverse what Sherry did. I'm going to ask you my questions first. That'll help me with my feedback as well. So are you guys basically only like on a per contract basis, or do you have like set pieces or set things that you sell on the side?
We don't sell direct to customer. We're a manufacturing business. So no, I do not have any product already ready to sell. I get asked a lot, do you have any patches that I can just buy right off?
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not that type of business. We can produce any artwork you want to make that patch or make that print, but we do not offer that service.
Okay, excellent. And do you guys work exclusively in New York, or do you like outsource, like do you have customers from all over, but you're just based in New York?
We have customers from all over the country, and we get some people from Canada, some Mexico. So we get some, but it's basically in the United States, I would say.
Excellent. As a Canadian, thank you. That's good to hear. I'm glad that you have some Canadian customers. So my feedback, I just, great concept. I love the idea. You guys have a wide range of products and services, and like I couldn't even read through your slides of all the different stuff that you guys do fast enough. So I know that you guys do a lot, which is great. I like that your presentation was concise. As someone who is a very concise writer and speaker myself, I really enjoyed that you just got to the point, didn't waste a lot of time. The only thing I would love to see is, because you're already at like less than 5 minutes, I think, for your pitch. I would love to see more examples and like more in detail of the projects that you've done in the past, because that to me was like one of the more interesting slides, was the one that you showed with the, I believe it was Marc Jacobs and a lot of other designers you worked with. I would have loved to have seen like more like close up, in depth, like photos of the work you've done in the past. But besides that, I think everything was fantastic. Good job.
All right, thank you. Just to me, the website has mainly all pictures you want to find, like from every development, from any type of technique that we develop. And also our Instagram, I forgot to mention, it's my favorite thing ever. My coworker Natalie does a great job. Everything is there. It's like kind of our portfolio. So if you click on our Instagram, you'll find everything.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Matt. And I'm a fellow Canadian as well, so I too was happy to hear that. That's great. All right, we're going to turn over to our final judge here. Certainly, last but not least, Jacqueline, any thoughts here?
Hey there. I want to say, great pitch. You know, I've been in those shoes. I know what it's like, and it can be nerve-wracking. So let me say to you, great job, great job. And I love what I heard about on the technology side, you know, when you talked about how you don't have to change out the colors, like there's a dye right there, you know, that can take care of that for you. So I can imagine that may be a game changer for you. Well, one of the questions that I had, and you sort of answered it, was, you know, what was your social media presence? And you talked a little bit about Instagram. So I was glad to hear that. And then the other thing that I liked, you talked about the simplicity of your website, so that when folks need to go in, they want to, you know, get a, you know, ask for an order or something like that, that you said that you made sure that your website is easy to navigate for new customers. So that's very smart, and it's good to keep it clean and simple. So I guess my only question for you is, you've been in business now for 15 years. What's your plan? Are you looking to scale? You're wanting to grow? What is your ask?
All right. Well, I personally just joined the company, but the company is a lesbian-owned business. I'm so proud to be part of this business as a gay man. We are actually hoping to buy another company and expand on UV printing on vegan leather. I mean, we do have a small scale printing on vegan leather or real leather or fur or all of that, but we're hoping to get the new business of larger UV printing and laser cutting and embossing and debossing. We are, I mean, I believe there's never, I would never say no for like growing. We all want to grow. We all want to be the source of like embroidery here. Like, I don't understand why people have to manufacture overseas. To me, we should be the one. I think this pandemic showed us that we literally have been like, doing production overseas, which really limited us as Americans to get the product right away, correct? So I think expanding here and being able to produce everything in the United States is amazing. So yeah, we're always looking to get another floor of embroidery machines to be able to manage to produce all these productions that we're getting. So that's what we're looking for, to get help with expanding. And yeah, rent is not cheap here. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Excellent job. Well done. Really appreciate the energy and enthusiasm you brought to our first presentation of the day. And I got to say, I love your background as well. It's beautiful. So thank you so much, Milad. And I'm going to go back and share my screen here. Thanks again to New York Embroidery Studio. We are going to turn it over to Cindy Grace Miller for our second presentation of the day.
Okay, let me figure out how to share my screen. There we go. All right, can everybody see that? Great, hey, it's so nice to be here. I'm so excited. My name is Cindy Grace Miller, and I have a new company that's actually launching this fall. But before I get to the new company, I need to tell you a little bit about where I came from, because it underscores why the new company is coming about. So for the last 10 years, I've built from the ground up a company called Insurance Happiness. We're a full-scale employee benefits, health, life, and disability company. As you'll see in a minute, it's very far from my roots, but I'm very grateful to be able to successfully build this company. But there's a little bit more to the story than just insurance. So my background is I have a master's in psychology as well as a master's in divinity. I started my life off as a pastor of 2 large churches in the United States. And then I was a licensed marriage therapist and had a practice. And then I was the lead coach for 2 different business development companies. So I've done a lot of things that could not be further away from business or insurance or et cetera. And I've successfully thrived in multiple major transitions in my life. And it's something I'm really proud of. I've obviously made some very big career transitions and been able to do that successfully. I've lived on the West Coast, the East Coast, up north. And then of course, as a woman of trans experience, I've transitioned my physical appearance as well as my social identity. So I know a thing or two about transitioning. I've actually also went from middle class to homeless back to upper middle class. So when it comes to transitioning, I've learned a few things. And that brings me to my vision and my passion. In the fall, my goal is to help upwardly mobile trans professionals thrive in their transition rather than just survive it, or unfortunately, as many do, avoid it altogether. One of the things that I've learned in my own journey is that not only is it really possible, but when you're somebody who's been successful in the world, maybe you're successful in the business, maybe you're part of corporate America, maybe you're an entrepreneur or you're a business owner, the more you have to lose, the harder it is to transition, because you're really afraid of losing everything. And I have a real heart for that, because I believe the more successful lights of successful trans folks that we have, the better it is for everybody across the business community. So we're hoping to launch this fall. And my goal is to really be the #1 resource worldwide for professionals of a trans experience who really desire to transition. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to provide soup to nuts transition guidance and high-level, very specific coaching with a focus on the secrets of mastering the mental, emotional, and spiritual elements of a successful transition. One of the things that I've learned that separates those who survive from those who thrive is it's not just about the clothes or the physical or the social, it's that mental and emotional side that really can make the difference. We're going to have a special focus on how to navigate a marriage and relationships during transition. This is something that I've seen way too many marriages that have just been destroyed. And as somebody we celebrate 29 years of marriage this December, I've been around the marriage block and the relationship block. I've spoken with hundreds of couples, and I think I know how to really help people transition without having to sacrifice those relationships. And then we plan on providing 3 club levels, monthly club levels of transition support. So we'll have a free, a basic, and a premium. And then we'll also provide private coaching and corporate support. I'm getting contacted now by several companies who have key professionals or executives in their company who want to transition, and they don't know where to begin. So Cindy Grace would be the
1 minute.
Up until this point, I'm proud that we've got enough capital to launch this fall, but we're looking for more, because one of our goals is we want to hire more folks of trans experience to not only be coaches, mentors, and just work in the company. We already have a few key partners who work successfully with our demographic, and they're excited to partner and help us grow. But we're looking for more strategic partnerships
30 seconds.
so we can reach more people. I'm very unique in my experience and what I've been through and how I can help people. And I'm so excited about launching this. I like to say that I may not be everybody's cup of tea, and I'm not going to try to be, but I'm the right shot of whiskey for some. Thank you.
Very well done, Cindy. I love that. I really love the way you started off by making your personal connection to your business. I think that was great. That really captured my attention. So let's go ahead and start with you, Matt. Any feedback here for Cindy?
Thank you, Sabrina. Yeah, Cindy, great job. Yeah, obviously you've done this more than once. Like it's a very clean, like even your PowerPoint, like you're just so clean with your transitions of going from thing to thing. It was very well done. I love the personal aspect in your presentation, especially because it relates so much to your business and like how you're going to be able to help other people, because it's your prior experiences. So I found that amazing. And it's an amazing idea that is so needed in today's world. So this is something that is just, it's going to be huge. I think it's a great idea. And I love that you're very robust and you tackle all aspects of life, not just business, but like personal and health and everything, which is, because people need that. People need everything when they're transitioning. I imagine just it's a whole world changer. I also love that you'll have the 3 levels for the free aspect, because I know there's a lot of people who out there who maybe can't afford to have some sort of program like this on a monthly basis. So I love that you're going to be offering a free option as well. My questions would be, what is your main outreach strategy going to be? Because I know that like this is something that a lot of people will need, but maybe they won't know about it. So how are you going to reach people?
Well, our main focus is going to be online, so we're going to be virtual. And really, if you're somebody who's not out of the closet and you're trans, you're going online. And really, you're going to YouTube, you're going to social media, you're doing Google searches. So we're going to really rely heavily on pay-per-click, geofencing. We're going to have a ton of content. That's really going to be the name of the game. Videos, podcasts, written content in as many places as possible, because that's really where it's gonna attract folks. And then just having those right partnerships where we can kind of work together with the same clients.
Excellent, awesome. I have a lot of questions. I'm a very question-oriented person. Will this be done all by you personally, or will you be taking on employees?
Well, actually, I'm interviewing somebody next week that I hope will be my COO. And I've learned some lessons from some of the past businesses that I've built, mostly what I've done wrong. And I have no desire to build this by myself, but I want the right people who can come in and help me stay organized, as well as kick me in the butt too and keep me going, so that I'm doing what I do best, but not having to spend time with the stuff that I don't do very well.
Excellent. Is this going to be like a mainly remote operation, just so that you'll be able to reach as many people as possible?
Yes.
Excellent. I think you kind of mixed that with the online. And then my last one would just be, are you going to offer this like in other languages? Just because I know that it's probably a worldwide issue that needs to like people all around the world will need help.
I would love to get to that point. I'm a little limited in my own language, and that I only do speak English. Obviously, it'll be open to other countries. If somebody speaks English, be happy to work with them. But hopefully we can get to a point where we can begin to have folks in other countries that are part of the team, and then we can have that option.
Excellent. That's all from me. Great presentation and great idea.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks so much for that, Matt. Jacqueline, let's go over to you. Any thoughts here for Cindy?
Yes. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Very good. I think the main thing I loved the most was the authenticity behind it. I think that's going to be the key in, possibly the success of your business. You just were very open and authentic about your journey, and the type of services that you're offering, those are close to home. This is real life for folks. So thank you for that. And also it kind of taps into, the vision of where you want to take this. I think the main question that I have, you seem to have a lot of experience in just business startups. And so with that said, what do you think some of the challenges will be in you starting this new business?
Well, I think, and Matt actually brought this up, and I think the key is making sure that I know how to connect to the right people who actually, it's one thing to have a great product, but if the people who want that product aren't hearing the message, or you're delivering it in a way that they're not getting it, then it's kind of worthless. And unfortunately, I've done this before in a bad way, where I thought I was doing great, but the right people weren't hearing it. So that's one of my, the biggest, I think, hurdles, but opportunities, is to say, hey, we have to get it out there so that people actually see it and hear it. I think for me now, I've transitioned a few times. And so in one sense, I could say that I understand what it is to be authentic, but it doesn't mean that I don't have the fear of unveiling an intimate look into my life. And in fact, even naming the company Cindy Grace was a little scary at first. All my other companies had other names, but it's me. I'm the brand, and there's a little bit of fear there sometimes, especially in today's modern online world. But I'm ready to take that on, and I think that it has to happen that way.
Awesome. I know that you mentioned, partnerships and things of that nature. Can you give us an example of some of the, maybe a couple of the strategic partnerships that you have lined up? Because a lot of again, what you're offering, your business is offering, is going to be front end, but there's going to be a lot of support. Sure. That goes beyond, and I'm sure you will, at least coming out the gate, be able to do all of that. So can you name a couple of the strategic partners that you've lined up?
Well, so one partner that I have is, her name is actually Dr. Z, and she's a transition therapist out in LA. And she and I have known each other for a little while. And, as we were talking, she was like, I have a lot of clients because I'm a therapist. I can only do it in 2 states. And I have a lot of clients that I can send to you, and I want to send them to you. So they're right there. We have the same client base, but yet there's going to be some that she can't do and she can send to me, and that's a good partnership. Another one is somebody by the name of Ashley Brundage of Empowering Now. I love Ashley. She's my neighbor and she's a friend. And so she and I have already talked, because her desire is a little different, but she's much more invested in corporate America than I am. so she can kind of hold my hand and introduce me to people and help me go through that, which is some stuff that while I build businesses, I'm not necessarily the most corporate savvy. So I need that kind of partner, that guide to help me do that. So those are our two right there.
Awesome. Again, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jacqueline. We know and love Ashley Brundage, who is the immediate past chair of our Trans and Gender Nonconforming Task Force. So glad to see y'all connected and neighbors at that. And Sherry, we're going to turn to you for final feedback here for Cindy.
So Cindy, I really liked your confidence and, your expertise came across. Your personal experience, I think, is a strength, and your background. I really liked when you talked about the secrets of the mental, emotional, spiritual. It sort of drew me in. Like, I want to know what those secrets are. It was very compelling. And your personal journey, I think, is, your credibility also. So I just really liked your presentation. One of the things I'm thinking is that you could take advantage of NGLCC and the relationships, of course. There's a perfect mix of HR, D&I, and employee resource group people. I'm wondering, first question I have is motivational speaking. I could see a foot in the door in corporate America by coming in and, really being a speaker, a guest speaker, and then working with either procurement or the or HR benefits, as providing that to the employees. And could you talk a little bit more of your thoughts on how you're going to engage with the corporations and tap into the decision makers?
Well, and I thank you for that, because I would love more speaking gigs. I kind of put a lot of that on hold during COVID for obvious reasons. But I have done quite a bit of speaking. And in fact, I was the president of several different Toastmasters groups, and I enjoy doing that. As far as connecting, I'm going to lean heavily on folks, like the NGLCC and Ashley to kind of help connect me. I've thought about contracting a PR person to really kind of help me do that, and just basically get my foot in the door and begin to have that. So I'm definitely open to it and would love that.
I was going to say that just because we're virtual doesn't mean you can't do speaking engagements. In fact, you probably could reach a larger audience because we're virtual, and a lot of corporations are buying speaking kind of things and having larger audiences.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. Great feedback. Cindy, fantastic job. So glad you could join us today for Sip and Pitch. Really appreciate you and your pitch. I thought you did a fantastic job. So with that, we're going to turn it over to our final presenter of today's first round, Salim. And I want to make sure I'm saying this right, Uroboros. So hopefully you can correct me if I'm wrong. Mediations.
So it's Salim and it's Uberos Mediations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Salim Mukta. I'm the owner of Uberos Mediations. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So I opened up my business 3 years ago. I was in court administration, and I was able to amass a couple of different certifications. I'm a mediator, an arbitrator, a divorce coach, a trained neutral, and an advanced specialist in e-discovery, as well as a paralegal. All of my roles have combined to make a robust service to help with the biggest asset for an individual or a business, which is social capital, the way that we connect with each other to create social good. And that is in a productive and efficient way. So Matt, I know that you're interested in process, and I am too. And I'm interested in the process of us working together. Social capital is really important because if there's there's no Steve Jobs without Steve Wozniak and the thousands of people that supported them. And social capital is so important because the loss of it is dire, and it's shown through research. The three biggest organizational issues is job satisfaction. That is the number one reason for turnover, litigation, which is court interaction, and then the loss of overall productivity. And that costs in billions, whether it's relationship-based conflicts internally or externally, emotional distress, or presenteeism, which is basically employees coming to work in a diminished capacity. That is going to be a major problem from any corporation or business. And that's why we have come up with a two-prong approach. Dispute resolution services that service the company, whether that's B2B, B2C, or internal employment disputes, and the possibility of offering dispute resolution services as an employee benefit. And dispute resolution services is much of what I talked about earlier within my background: mediation, arbitration, collaborative law, something called ombud services, and coaching services. It is done virtually and with a panel of expert dispute resolution service providers who are attorneys and high value professionals. That's a solution to make sure that conflicts and issues don't happen in the workplace. And it encompasses all these practice areas. So no matter if you're bringing life into the world or saying goodbye to a loved one, dealing with home or work, we have you covered. And the proof is in the concept. I work with a volunteer mediation association through the North Carolina Office of State Human Resources. And they have saved $127,000 with their mediation program. And I think I can save a lot more marketing my business to corporations and businesses all across the world, not just North Carolina or the United States. And we can add productivity, we can make people feel like we're engaging in really proactive ways with their already established complaint or grievances process. We can prevent court.
1 minute.
And cut costs, and also contribute to a positive corporate culture. In conclusion, Ubros mediations can solve internal and external issues by preemption, mitigation, and prevention, increase efficiency, productivity, and employee satisfaction, and lower costs and needs for litigation, which is 1/3 of the percent of costs in
30 seconds.
If anyone wants to get to know me a little bit better or talk about strategic partnership, Cindy, I'm thinking of you. Please reach out to me. And I just wanted to mention my sources and the definitions of mediation, arbitration, collaborative law, ombud services, and coaching. I hope that this was educational and enjoyable. And I look forward for any feedback.
Salim, thank you so much. You did a phenomenal job. I will say that you have such the positive, calming energy that I think is perfect for your industry. And that was evident from the get-go. So fantastic job. Jacqueline, let's start with you for any feedback here for Salim.
Sure. Well done, Salim. Thank you for sharing this information, and it was educational, and I love that, and I love the fact that you included the definitions and really explained some of the processes. So well done, well done. So I think the main thing that came to my mind was, it appears that you're targeting corporations. Is that correct? That's your
Yes, ma'am.
Focus. So what is your strategy for obtaining businesses with the corporations? Like, how are are you forming those relationships?
My strategy is relying on my local Chamber of Commerce, my B&I group, Business Networking International, as well as making sure I'm doing everything I can as a diversity supplier. I know that there's a lot of money and resources for businesses that have a diverse makeup. And I think I have diversity in spades as a Black gay man who is considered by the SBA as a small business and a disadvantaged business. So I'm going to be using my network and social capital to hopefully generate deals.
Okay. And can you describe your team? Are you working pretty much, as a sole owner, and then you have strategic partnerships, or do you have internal staffing right now?
So I am working with a strategic partnership with another dispute resolution professional. Her name is Jessica Camacho. She operates in the federal space. And then the panel of dispute resolution professionals I'm going to be contracting with. They have jobs in firms of their own. And we're going to hopefully be scaling to have some internal individuals within both of our companies that handle this type of contract work.
Awesome. And speaking of scaling, I'm glad you brought that up. So what would be your ask? What do you need? What do you see is your biggest need right now to help you to scale at this point?
I think just getting the word out there. A really powerful difference between dispute resolution professionals in the space and me is that with my company, we're trying to engage before litigation even happens. And we have so much capabilities of, being connected to, alert line and making sure ombuds know what's happening and facilitating conversations beforehand. We have so many opportunities to bring decision makers or interested parties in the room and discussing best practices. We just need to make the introductions to diversity, equity, and inclusion professionals, procurement people, and just have the conversation. And I think that I can dazzle them with my charm and, eager.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And again, well done.
Thanks so much, Jacqueline. Awesome. Sherry, I'm going to turn it over to you for any thoughts here for Celine.
Okay, yeah, no, it was great. I felt like I learned a lot, and it seems like a no-brainer the way you present it, that this is something that companies can do to be preemptive and to avoid additional costs. So it was very clear. It went so fast that sometimes I wanted to look at the slide a little longer, especially with this one slide that I really liked that went fast was the one, like all the different services that you guys provide, the different perspectives like marriage, divorce, because then I'm thinking procurement people, what does that impact? That could be a really good value add service for employees and package it that way. So my couple of questions I have, so I enjoyed it, was what's your biggest challenge getting in the door? So as you know, procurement is looking to save money. They exist for cost savings. So It seems like you could partner with procurement people, because if for some reason getting, the legal department, sees you as potentially a threat, or they don't want to make a change, your procurement people in corporations could be your biggest advocate because they're driving savings. And so what do you think your biggest challenge is? And how do companies handle it now? Do you find that there are other things in place that do what you do? Like what's different that you could highlight, and how, and what's the biggest challenge that you have, since it seems like a great solution or a great concept?
I think awareness is a challenge, and my vision is to proliferate dispute resolution services in the cultural zeitgeist. I think that that's so important because people don't know that court is an option, not a necessity. And I want to really change the narrative on a global level about what we have to do as people to get some remedies for any dispute or issues within our lives in general. And I think, to answer your second question, what I imagine is the biggest issue is the nebulous aspect of engaging in investigations or having an HR review. I think that some people feel like HR is looking out for the company's best interest. And we're an independent agency that has rules, has philosophies, and has interest in staying neutral and just trying to reach compromise, however that may look. And I think that that is the shining jewel on the crown of my business and on my heart.
One quick question before I turn it over to Matt. You mentioned your area code is North Carolina. Your example was North Carolina. Are you looking to expand this out, across all states, or are you focused locally?
No, I'm looking to expand it across all states, all regions, everywhere. I think that it has can be applied internationally.
Awesome. Thanks, Sherry. All right, Matt, I will turn it to you to close it out for any thoughts here.
Going last sucks. Sherry and Jack, and so all of my questions and thoughts, but no, I'm just kidding. I do echo my fellow judges. Great job. I love this. It's kind of a personal area of interest for me as well. And with that being said, I just wish, I know we were in a time crunch with the 5 minutes, but I would have loved if you were able to go in depth more on all the different areas and the things that you offer. So in certain pitches, maybe where you don't have that 5 minute time crunch or that short window, really boring down on the different aspects that you offer, because you kind of just gloss over them. And again, I know it was a time crunch, but as someone who did want to learn a lot more about what you do, just really separating the different areas that you work in and really going in depth on them a little bit more would have been great. And the only other thing that I was going to say was just the definitions. I would have loved to have them at the start of the presentation, because I knew 5 out of 6 of them, or however many there were. I knew most of them, but there was a few that I didn't know. So having that to help follow along with would have been great. But besides that, everything was amazing. And my only couple questions is, what is the current biggest client base that you have? What would you say is the largest clientele that you have right now?
Right now, it's a tie between employment and divorce and family issues. And to answer your question, or to respond to your comment, I was trying to make you salivate. So hopefully you'll give me a call or sign up on my Calendly if you want to know more.
I didn't think of that. That is a great point. That sounds good. And then my other question was just half question, half comment. It seems like a big part of the concept that you have here would rely on repeat business. So do you currently have, or are you thinking of having some sort of contract basis with especially with companies and the more corporations you can get into? Do you have that currently, or is that something you're looking towards?
I'm looking towards.
Okay. Excellent. And then my last question, just out of pure curiosity, where does the name come from, and what is the thing behind your name?
So with one of the O's in Uberos, it is a snake eating its tail. It's the Greek spelling of Uberus, which is a snake eating its tail, and it's a symbol for life and the cycle of life and death. And it's also a symbol of alchemy. And so I thought it would be a wonderful asset to my brand to have this symbol of alchemy, which I feel like I'm going to be turning peace from war and harmony from conflict in my everyday life. So, and it's wonderful.
Awesome. Add that into the presentation, because that's a great little tidbit as well. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Very well done, Salim. And I too, I was going to say, I do love the logo. I think it looks so nice up here on the screen. I thought your deck was very clean as well. So I want to say a big thank you to our judges, Matt, Sherry, and Jacqueline. And Jacqueline will not be back with us for round two, but we have an awesome judge that's coming in round two to join us. So I want to say a big thank you to Jacqueline for joining us here for round one for Sip and Pitch today. And of course, to our amazing presenters, Ubros Mediations, now that I got that, beautiful, Cindy Grace Miller, and of course, New York Embroidery Studio. Thank you so much for joining us for round one. We're going to take a quick pause. We will be back for round two in about 5 minutes. So take a moment to stretch your legs, fill up your glass of water. Don't forget that after round two, we've got our sipping portion of the program where we get to sit down, connect, and do some networking. So with that, we'll see you back in just a few minutes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to round two of NGLCC LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. My name is Sabrina Kent. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Senior Vice President overseeing supplier diversity and programs at NGLCC. We just had an amazing first round of Sip and Pitch today, and we're so excited for round two. So for those of you that have just joined, please go ahead and find the rename feature here on Zoom to rename yourself and include your pronouns next to your name, as I've done here. You can rename yourself by finding your name on the participants list, selecting more and rename, or by hovering over your image here on Zoom, selecting the ... and also selecting the rename feature there. So with that, we're going to get started with round two, and I'm excited to reintroduce our judges and welcome a new judge to the table. First, we have Matt Nelson, Operations Specialist at Brex. We have Tom Pelletier. I'm going to say that I may have butchered that, Tom, so please correct me when you come on if I did. He's the Director of I4O Global Automation and Process Delivery at Stanley Black & Decker, and Sherry Shafir, Supplier Diversity and Sustainability Manager at NYU. So welcome to our judges. And we have an exciting round of presentations coming up. But again, I'm going to go over our rules of the road here at Sip and Pitch. And the first is that each company has 5 minutes to present. Only one presenter will be participating from each company. Judges will have 10 minutes to provide feedback and Q&A. No presentation, no problem. We are here to provide informal feedback in real time for our companies to learn, grow, and scale. If you are not speaking, please mute your microphone. That ensures that we're able to hear everything our judges and presenters have to say. Lauren Schweppe from Team NGLCC is here. Lauren, can you say hello?
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. So Lauren is keeping time for us. She provides verbal warnings at both 1 minute and at 30-second remainings to ensure our presenters stay on time within the 5-minute guideline. So please don't be upset with Lauren for interrupting. She's just keeping time, as she does for all of us at Team NGLCC. Remember, this is a judgment-free zone. We are here in the spirit of feedback and collaboration. And finally, as always, most importantly, have fun. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter, Stephen Stark from Schooley Mitchell. Take it away.
Hey, everybody. Give me a sec here. I'd like to share my screen. Says I can't start the screen share while somebody else is sharing. So there you go. We're on top of it. Great. Is that coming through?
It is.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Stephen Stark here, Business Optimization Specialist with Schooley Mitchell. Pronouns he, him, his. And today I'm addressing all the financial decision makers in the room, whether that's a CEO, CFO, procurement specialist, business owner. And I want to talk to you about how much you guys have on your plate. And because you've got so much going on, it's impossible to be an expert in everything. And that's why I'd like to talk to you about what I do, which is cost reduction consulting. And I'll give a little definition here that I made up. Cost reduction consulting is the business of helping clients be more efficient and competitive by optimizing or reducing the amount of money they spend for various services, what we like to call cost categories. Now, obviously we focus on price when we're trying to save somebody some money or the rate, but we also do a lot of other things, and just a few of those are monitoring for over provisioning changes or advancements in technology, looking at shipping and waste pattern changes that can affect the bottom line, and a one that goes unnoticed are billing errors. So at Schoolie Mitchell, we have 8 cost categories that we're experts in. Those are telecom, merchant services or credit card processing fees, small package shipping, which means up to 150 pounds, and courier charges, waste disposal of any kind, including medical waste, which is a biggie right now, and also hazardous waste, electronic logging devices, which are used in the trucking or transportation industry, e-signature software, example would be DocuSign, utilities, and fuel. So at Schoolie Mitchell, we want to make things easy and risk-free for our clients. We perform an analysis at zero cost. I'll cover the cost of the analysis. And so what we'll do is perform our analysis. I usually take 1 to 2 hours of a client's time to get some basic information, some copies of their statements. And the way it works is our client only pays us if we're able to find them some savings. And when we find them some savings, then we're paid by splitting that savings with them for a 3-year period. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say that we're not vendors or brokers. We don't sell any of these items, these cost categories or things that we consult to. So our only goal is to save our client money, and because that's how we get paid. The analysis that we conduct will result in us preparing a value report for our clients. And this is just one page out of many for a value report. This example is for a telecom client where we save them over 28% in their telecom by making some optimization changes. And this is what we present to the client with our recommendations. We work anywhere in the United States and Canada, and we work with all types of organizations, for-profits, nonprofits, educational institutions, and government institutions. We don't worry about what the client is, it's more the cost category, and everybody has telecom and waste disposal, merchant services. So we get to work with a lot of different types of organizations. These are just some names that you'll all recognize of clients that work with or have worked with Schoolie Mitchell. And in a lot of cases, these are franchise owners that we've worked with of these companies. But for every large company you see here, we've worked with thousands of small mom and pop, small and medium companies. This is just a testimonial of a small client that we worked with, an animal hospital. And I like it because we worked in several different cost categories, including merchant services, telecom, and waste, specifically medical waste in this example. And we were able to save them money in every cost category. I also like this one because it's an example where we found a billing error. The client would have never caught this billing error. It was $1,200, so not insignificant to a small company, but billing errors are actually rampant and they just don't get caught, unfortunately. And that's where a service like us comes in handy. My real exciting news is this. I'm starting what I'm calling the $100 million optimization tour. And what I've done is I purchased this little van motorhome that you see down here. And I'm packing up my 3 dogs, and we're going to take a trip throughout the United States. And I'm launching a YouTube channel in connection with this. And my goal is to go and visit some exciting places, but I would like to go out and visit with my clients, and I'm hoping a lot of that will be our LGBT businesses that are out there that do a lot of really cool things. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would appreciate it, even though there's no content yet, but there will be soon. I'll be leaving in about a month or so once it cools down. Here's my contact information, which I'll also put in the chat. Thanks for your time today, everybody.
Stephen, thanks so much. I'm a little bit jealous of your trip on the road there. That sounds super exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Matt, let's start with you. Any feedback here for Stephen?
And mute myself here. Thank you, Sabrina. Yeah, great presentation, Stephen. I agree with Sabrina. Very jealous of you getting to go on this cross-country road trip with your dogs. firstly, I just have just a few questions. One of them, is this like you run by yourself, this business, or is it, do you have employees?
Schooley Mitchell is the largest cost reduction consulting firm in North America. I own a franchise of it. And we have about behind the scenes, the smart people that do the real work, we have about 100 people that are experts in each one of those cost categories that I talked about. We have a group in telecom, a group in waste, a group in, whatever it might be. And they're the ones who are out there doing all the digging and figuring out ways to save money for our clients. I'm the one that interacts with the client.
Excellent. And that kind of leads into my next question. So do you guys have existing relationships with like certain partners in these areas that you outlined to get these better, like, do you get better deals for the clients, or are you just going over like their current contracts?
We can often, 80% of the time, we work out deals where our clients stay with their current vendors and there's no change. But sometimes savings might be so compelling that they will switch vendors, but it's up to the client at the end of the day. But most of the time we're staying with their current vendors. And yes, we do have relationships that enable us to get better rates, but I just want to make it clear, we don't have any financial there's no kickbacks or commissions that we earn from these vendors. Our allegiance is to our clients saving them money, and to keep us completely independent and objective, we couldn't be getting paid by a vendor. So we're only paid by the savings we find for the client. But we do leverage our size and our expertise with the vendors and have relationships with them.
Excellent. I love that part. Just some comments now. I like your payment model. Your presentation overall was really great. No notes on the presentation from me. My last question, I guess, would be, is your analysis of the company is purely remote, or do you do like boots on the ground? I know with your trip, you're going to be doing that, but like normally would it just be like remote, or would you be like at the scene?
We do both. Well, nowadays, obviously, because of everything that's going on, the majority is a lot of just everything we do can be done over the internet. It's just getting questions answered, copies of statements and things like that. So it can all be done remotely. But we do occasionally meet clients and go in person. It just depends how close we are. The way we work, I have paid referral partnerships with folks like accountants, commercial insurance agents, real estate agents, B2B folks, and they're the ones who make referrals and get my foot in the door of these businesses. And so they come from all over the country, all different parts. So I am mostly meeting remotely. But when I launch the YouTube channel, obviously that'll be in-person stuff that I'm putting on YouTube. It wouldn't be very interesting to watch me, talk to somebody on Zoom, so.
Excellent. Thank you. And I will subscribe to your channel and tune in.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Matt. Sherry, let's go over to you.
Okay, so I really liked your presentation, the visuals. I am not, unlike Matt, I am not a numbers person and I don't like data. So it was very easy for me to understand. It was simple. You had a really great example. You had a really interesting testimonial that had proven success, like the $1,200 example that you showed, not caught. So maybe I missed it, but is your revenue model that you get a percentage of the success you find, the errors you find?
That's correct. When we come back to a client after doing our analysis, if they accept one of our cost-saving recommendations, then what we do is we split that savings with them over a 3-year period. So what we do is, once we implement whatever the change is to save the money, we'll bill the client on a quarterly basis for our portion of it, and that's how we get paid.
Okay, and when you say split, you mean like 50-50 or?
Yes, correct.
And is that like an industry standard for the most part?
It's pretty common, but every company works a little bit differently, but it's not uncommon.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I had some questions and then you had a great slide. Like I really like the US and Canada with the little office locations and whatnot. And it was maybe you might want to, it was a great question Matt asked, maybe you want to say, give that pitch, because that's like great credibility that Schooley Mitchell is one of the largest, that does this. And they're like most, like I never heard of that company. And the fact that you're a franchise owner would mean ideally that the corporations can still get LGBT spend credit for, utilizing your company because it's its own business, even though it's a franchise. So I would if your company is certified as, with NGLCC, then you're getting the safety and security of using this big organization, but they're working with LGBTQ plus certified business, which is, which is great. I really liked your clients, and I thank you for clarifying that they're franchises, because a lot of times, companies will ask those questions and they like to hear that forthcoming, being very transparent, versus you're working with the headquarters of Holiday Inn or something.
Okay.
So I thought that was really good. I liked your transparency and your honesty and directness and simplicity. I think this is another one of those no-brainers, like, why you have nothing to lose, because if you didn't hire, we didn't hire your company, we wouldn't get those savings. So it's a win-win. So last question is, who are you targeting? Where is your opportunity for growth? Are you targeting the companies that are on this call, mid-size, large companies, all the above?
All the above, Sherry. Any and all. Like I say, we work with very small companies, mom and pops, up to Fortune 500 companies. So it's all over the board. In fact, I know you're with NYU. I'm starting a campaign personally to work with educational institutions, because they've been really hit hard by the pandemic, and I have a feeling it's going to happen again for them. There's going to be a lot of pain here in the future. And in my world, they're big users of telecom, waste disposal, and merchant services, and maybe fuel in some cases. And thank you for bringing up the point. I am a certified LGBT business enterprise, thanks to the NGLCC team. And so you're right, that should have been worked in the presentation. So thanks for the feedback.
Awesome, Stephen, fantastic job. Tom, we're going to turn it to you for final thoughts here.
Okay, I thought the presentation was great. There's a lot of good detail, but like Sherry mentioned, I'd like to see, the horsepower behind you. I was kind of wondering how many employees you had, and it would be good to bring that up. As coming from a company, Stanley Black & Decker, we're the largest tool company in the world, and we have large teams going after productivity every year. Every single year, we save millions of dollars. And even from a previous presentation, somebody talked about being more competitive with overseas companies. And this is a way to do it, to have a company like yours come in and show them how they could reduce costs to be more competitive, because that's the only way companies who are worried about overseas competition are going to win. So I feel very strongly that small companies should take advantage of this. And if you could get yourself out there in front of these small companies and explain your benefits, how and what you could do to help them become more competitive, I think that's a win for you.
Thanks, Tom. That's great feedback. And I think I said it a second, it wasn't in the presentation, you're right, but there's about 100 folks behind the scenes doing, digging in the dirt basically, and doing the heavy lifting. And I appreciate everything you said. You're right on, and you're right. Everybody should take advantage of it. Just the example I gave of the animal hospital, that was about $2,500 a month in savings that we found for them. And certainly there's a lot that they could be doing with $2,500 a month. But on a bigger scale, I recently worked with a company that did shipping. They made some stuff and they shipped. And within an hour, it was an hour meeting with them, and it took about 6 weeks to come back. But we found them over $1 million of savings just in their shipping costs through optimization. So,
and that's great. Your first consultation is free, and that shows them, and then you come to them with what you could say, and that's terrific. I just want to comment. This is my first sip and pitch, and it's great to discuss something than manufacturing and look at other companies that do other things. So appreciate being part of this.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. All righty, dighty. We are going to close out round one and say thank you so much, Stephen, for your presentation. And we are going to turn it over to our second presenter of round two. Please forgive me if I don't say this right. Adaya Cybersecurity.
It's all right. It's Adaya. We'll talk about that.
Okay,
Have a lot
great.
of fun about it, but that's intentional.
Awesome. Over to you.
All right, let me pull up my screen. All right, buttons. All right, can you see my screen?
We can.
Perfect. Well, we'll get started. My name is Rafael Matone. I'm CEO and founder of Adea Security. I've got about 20 years background in many different little startups that grew to global and organizations, either going IPO or acquisitions. Just recently leaving Duo after the Cisco acquisition and starting Adea Security. That's one of the lenses that I look through as we're talking about Adea. The other two are kind of my background and story. I was lucky enough at 28 to move to Dallas, Texas, and met an amazing group of people who some of them are on this call that helped me shape who I am today. And our joke, but it's true even today, every day is National Coming Out Day. And I think that lens helped me understand that in corporate America, we need to create a lot of diversity and community. And we've done so at Adea. Lastly, I was part of the generation that was told you couldn't get married and have children. I was fortunate enough to move back to Michigan, marry my husband here, and have two amazing daughters, 5 and 8 years old. So you're probably saying, well, how does that relate to Adea? It goes back to the name. Adea is the first two initials are my daughters' first names, Aniela and Alessandra. The D is intentional because we are headquartered in Detroit. So let's talk about our mission. We're out to create a smart, simple, affordable solution, not a point product, that is designed for small and medium-sized businesses to protect their revenue and their brand, as well as their customers. What we're seeing out in the marketplace is that obviously everyone has gone remote over the last 2 years. There are multiple devices. The people that are actually hacking are now going after the SMBs at 70 to 80%, predominantly with phishing, and that everyone's moving to the cloud. What we found is that, no surprise, SMBs can't afford IT or cybersecurity solutions that are out there. So we created Judy. Judy is your virtual cybersecurity assistant. And as many of you are smiling, that is an intentional name. We wanted to create that nurturing. We all think of Julie Garland, Judy Jetson. She is there to be your virtual cybersecurity assistant as a small business owner, allowing you to go generate business. She provisions, she maintains, and she updates each of our pillars. We've built all of these from the ground up, and we're bringing that enterprise-grade software down into the SMB space in a way that not only do you not have to hire anyone to maintain and keep your company protected, but also that she is updating and maintaining everything so that where you have revenue tied to those enterprise organizations or government agencies, you now can show your security posture. Lastly, we disrupt with price. We are in it for the SMB. And so you get this complete solution for $12 per user per month, unlimited devices. You're all calculating right now in your head, wow, I can afford that. 10, 20, 30 employees. You now have a complete enterprise solution that now protects your organization and your company. We sell through our channel, and that is we are listed on Amazon as well as our website or through our channel partners. So we have partners all over the North America that now sell Adea solution to small and medium-sized businesses. We are listed on Amazon as a LGBT-owned business as well as small business, and have been certified for even to interact with the federal government, which has helped because of the federal orders that have now come down where SMBs, like business owners like you, now have to be compliant if you're going to do business with others. We are headquartered in Detroit. We are a very diverse team. And that diversity goes back to the beginning of my story where, yes, we have many men, women, races, LGBTQ, but also different political ideas and religion. And for me, that is that lens that has created an amazing community for us internally. And you see us glow as we go out into the marketplace. So been around for 3 years. We're excited on the journey that we're on. Again, we're selling in North America
30 seconds.
And plan to go global next year. So thank you again for having me. And
wow.
Paul, sorry, it was a little bit of a delay.
No, yeah. That's all right. Job well done. I love this look of your team, the bunch. That's so cool. The Adea bunch. Wow, really, really beautifully done. And I think right now, one of the things we're hearing a lot from so many of our suppliers is, how are they ensuring that they are protected from a regulatory standpoint to be able to emerge in some of these corporate and federal supply chains, as you mentioned, because risk is such a big thing, especially during COVID, as you noted as well. So that's excellent. Sherry, let's start with you. Any feedback here?
It was really good. I enjoyed the Judy, although I've been watching a lot of some, my husband likes sci-fi, so I've been watching a lot of these things where they're in reruns where, the nice soft-spoken voice is like is the person who's really pulling all the strings. There was a cartoon also my daughter made me watch that also had that theme where it was like, I think the cell phone was evil or whatever. Anyway, I digress. I really liked it. It was easy to understand. I think your huge competitive advantage is being $12 a month. It's, it's like 10 cents a day. It's like, it's like that really like no brainer. I have nothing, I need something. And so my question to you is, I have two questions. Who's your competition? Like, is it like McCaffrey? Is it something really big? Is it multiple people? No, or what do you have that's, so it seems like you offer something that has like, what did you say, like 8 different components to it. Does anybody else offer that? And, and also, so in addition to who your competition is, the second question is, maybe you could include some of your current clients. I don't remember if I saw that. It would be comforting to know if there were names that, we're familiar with. That would also be an asset maybe to include on your presentation, or at least like your partners. You verbally said Amazon, but maybe you can have a slide showing your partners. So first, who's your competition?
Honestly, we have 8 different verticals that are our competition. So because we offer Judy, single sign-on, password manager, endpoint, anti-phishing, and then that compliance framework, we're competing against the big companies. So McAfee, CrowdStrike, LastPass, 1Password, Okta. We are displacing all these companies because customers are tired of point products, and they're tired that they're going to spend $20,000 to $50,000 for one of them, right? And so the way we're able to do this is that we are headquartered in Detroit, and we truly believe we want to enable the SMB customer. And so that price and that it's enterprise grade, bringing it down, is allowing us to displace all these big companies, or there is no competition. Many companies say, I'll keep my fingers crossed and I'll just hope that the OEM version of McAfee that's downloaded on my laptop or desktop covers it, but don't protect their identity through password manager or single sign-on, or that they have the virtual assistant Judy monitoring to see if someone has breached Sherry's system with spyware or ransomware or MITRE attacks, and you don't even know about it. She does, and she alerts you and our partner or us, and we are immediately able to jump in and mitigate the situation.
And what about your current clients?
Our clients range from 1 to 2,500 employees. So we do small and medium-sized companies. You're right, we probably could start positioning them. I won't say it today, but what I will say is many of our customers also support some of the biggest companies on the planet. So University of Michigan, Ford, Ohio State, the federal government, because their revenue is tied to them. Think of it this way. You're all small business owners. There's also, the organization need us to be able to do business. So facilities, marketing companies, law firms, financial companies, those bigger organizations come to these small businesses and are now demanding that they have a security posture protecting the data, the system, because they don't want to be the next target like we saw at Christmas, where all the credit cards are stolen and you found out it was an HVAC company with 5 employees plugging in his laptop to do his job at a store. So we have a very wide range of customers, and we are across North America. But yeah, I agree with you. We need to probably start promoting that more.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Sherry, for those comments. And Matt, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you.
Hi, Matt.
So many questions. Hello. It was a great presentation. I was writing down, so if I missed something, because I was writing a lot of notes down, I apologize. But I like that your past experience, it lends a lot of legitimacy to the company, because like I've used and know all of those products of those companies that you worked at. We currently use Duo Security here at Breck, so that's even one that I know of this very day and use. I like that you concentrate so much on your personal life in that, and being from Detroit is pretty cool. I actually grew up in Windsor, so I know the area well. So much room for growth. It's such a great industry, and like this idea is fantastic. So great on that. Your presentation was very visually well done as well. Like I was very engaged with just the visual aspects of the presentation. Love the name, love the Judy idea, love the name. And also like Serena, I think said at the end of your presentation, I love seeing the company, like it really humanizes the company and shows that like you have all these people working for you and working for the clients, which is a great part of any presentation, I believe. A few questions that I do have. So is this like mostly software, or is it like a contracting out of like just maintaining the security for the businesses?
Well, these are all the 7 pillars are software, and then so as an example, like Duo, we install an agent on your device. Judy then does all her amazing machine learning, installs all these pillars, and then she starts to maintain and update. The only area you as a user would log in and see Judy is your password vault, and then she does all the single sign-on blocks for anti-phishing. So if she sees a link that you clicked on is phishing, she blocks it immediately. So it's this ability to have that 100-person enterprise security team now on your device with you, even if you're a 1, 2, 3, 200 employee business owner. And then we wrap the compliance framework around that. So it's all automated so that you can export a report and show your executive team or your customers that you are compliant for CMMC, PCI, SOC 1, SOC 2, there's thousands of them. We now bring that even to the SMB space and automated it for them in a way that they don't have to go hire auditors to do it, which can break the bank as well.
Excellent, thank you. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but my next question is there a limit for users like on your platform?
There isn't, but we really want to focus on small, medium-sized businesses. When you start going to enterprise space, there's 3,500 vendors that focus on that space. They're all competing for the same dollars. And I have many, as you saw my background, amazing people that I used to work with that are saying it is chaotic. CIOs are frustrated, and that, it is a oversaturated space. So for us, we want to focus on the 32 million SMB customers just in North America and empower them in a way that, yes, will lead to revenue and growth and all the other fun things that are going to come with a cybersecurity startup.
Excellent. And just as like a personal note, I would love to connect because we at Brex have the same kind of market share as you. So maybe we can do a partnership or something would be good.
Absolutely. I'll put my contact info in there, and we would love that. So.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you. And yeah, that was one of the things I was going to say is I love that it is so clear who your target market and customer is, right? I think sometimes people get so focused on going sky's the limit and anyone can take advantage of my product or service that they're actually missing out on a key share of market opportunity. So I love how zeroed in and focused that was and how we knew that right from the get-go. You kept saying SMB, SMB. So that was really helpful. And Tom, I'm going to not steal your thunder and turn it over to you to close out for this portion.
Okay, thank you. Beautiful family. Love the presentation. When I talk IT, my eyes roll back in my head, but the way you gave your presentation, I understood it as we were going through it. One of the things I think maybe you should put in there is qualifications of your staff. Maybe not list every person with all their qualifications for IT, but it would lend it. I think it would help support why people should go to your service. And then you mentioned, an example of, if you can mention an example of where a company, a small business and a larger company came in and said, in order to do business for us, you have to have this security, and how quickly you could respond to that by using your service. I think that would be, very helpful. And then what type of support do you provide for the software if a customer has problems? You know, how do they get support, like backup?
Yeah, we're 24/7. It's in the,
Yeah.
it's, you know, the speed dating talk here. I'm going to hit time again. My 10-minute version goes through those. So yeah, I pitch, but yeah, we are 24/7. We will jump in and help you or the partner to remediate what's ever going on in your network or device.
Yeah. All right,
Great
well,
feedback.
yeah, thank you. It was a great presentation. I understood it as you're going through it. And visually,
Wonderful.
it looked also good. You know, I like looking at, I was able to stay engaged.
It's not intended to feel like cybersecurity. That's our
Yep,
that's our
yeah,
approach.
and it didn't. Like I said, when it comes to IT, I'd rather stay out of it, but I was engaged. So thank you.
Wonderful. I'll put my contact info. Any of you, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. And definitely enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for having me.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You did a fantastic job. And Tom, you stole the words from my mouth. You know, if I could understand it, then you were definitely doing something right. So again, that was Adea. Fantastic job. We are going to turn it over to our final presenter of round 3 today. And that is Skyler Brady from Ginger Armor. Take it away, Skyler.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
We can.
Yes, awesome. Sorry, I was having technical issues earlier, but I'm Skyler Brady, founder of Ginger Armor, which is a sunscreen for basically gingers and people with really sensitive skin like me. I've been in landscaping for about 15 years, and before that I played a lot of football outside and I would get really, really badly burned. So it made me kind of become really cognizant about what I was putting on my skin. And the more I researched about it, the more I got kind of scared, honestly, because there's a lot of things out there that aren't really good for you that we're putting on our skin constantly. And then there are some products that are actually really good for you. So Ginger Armor, what's unique about it is that it takes
Skyler, I lost your audio. Did anyone else lose Skyler's audio? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Skyler? Uh-oh.
His bars are yellow too, so.
What's that?
Oh, there we go. We lost your audio.
Oh no, sorry guys.
If you want to just back it up about 15, 20 seconds.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically Ginger Armor is a combination of 4 different aspects of sunscreen and moisturizer. So it's the values of it are health, environment, the cost, and usability. Basically what I was, I think, I'm not sure which part you guys missed, but basically I wanted to make something that met all of my criteria for those 4 factors. And what's unique about Ginger Armor is that it's completely natural. So there's just plants and minerals as opposed to chemicals and silicones. And it actually blends into your skin clear. That was probably the most difficult part. That took about 2 years going back and forth with chemists to find the right formula. It also doesn't burn your eyes, and it's safe for babies 6 months and older. But it is designed for people that are really cognizant of having, or that really have sensitive skin. If I use the wrong, like not dishwashing soap, but soap for my clothing machine, like I break out in hives. I've such sensitive skin. So I found products that were similar to it and that they would be healthy, but then they'd be super white and goopy. And what's cool about Ginger Armor is it is not. It literally, like, I wish you guys could all have a bottle right now, but basically it goes on white and then it rubs in completely clear, even on really dark skin. That's the main factor as far as usability goes. And as far as cost goes, we got the price down to less than 20 cents to protect your face all day and moisturize it. And what's unique about the formula is also that there's no water in it. So you're getting something that is just sunscreen and moisturizer. And there's 250 uses per bottle. What else is good about it is it's a 2-in-1. So it's a moisturizer and a sunscreen. And it's the environmental factor. My favorite part about it, and this was also a challenge, is that it's not only all natural, the bottle itself is aluminum. So it's 100% recyclable. And it protects you from phthalates, which are little bits of plastic that are unfortunately everywhere now, but it reduces that impact on the environment and your own skin and your own health because it's aluminum instead of plastic. So basically when the sun hits it and the light hits it, it's aluminum instead of plastic, which will degrade and eventually end up in the formula. And then as far as, let's see, I talked about usability, I talked about environment, and then as far as health goes, it also protects you from HEV blue light, which is proven to, it's the more recent science. It's not as understood as UVA and UVB, but basically 60 minutes of screen time, whether it be your phone or a laptop, has been proven to basically rapidly increase cell damage in your skin. So that's another benefit of what Ginger Armor does. It protects you from that. And as far as accessibility, right now it's only available online, but it's going to be on Amazon and on Instagram sales in about 30 or 40 more days, depending on the probation period. And yeah, it's like I said, it's designed for people who go outside and who stay indoors and who want to protect their skin. And I'm trying to normalize sunscreen use. I know some people take it really seriously, but it's like brushing your teeth. Everybody should be doing it. And
1 minute.
And yeah, that's pretty much my pitch.
Skyler, fantastic. Thank you so much. I've been checking out your website here as you're presenting. I love that you're taking the natural approach here and some of the sustainability factors that you talked about. I also love that you said that you work really hard to develop a formula that absorbs into your skin, because so many times I've tried like zinc-based sunscreens and other things that they just don't absorb. So I think that's fantastic. Really appreciate you joining us to pitch today. And Tom, I will turn it to you to provide your feedback.
Okay, great. You know, I love that you're able to explain your product without having a presentation, which, you know, part of this you don't have to, which was great. I guess, you know, you started off that it's made for people, gingers, and, you know, if you could say that, but also say it's for everybody, because I didn't get that out of the pitch. So I think that would help, that it is for it. And is it for everybody? Is it for all complexions?
It's for everybody with sensitive skin. So it is for everybody, but it's targeted for.
Well, losing your audio.
We lost your audio again, Skyler. Oh.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, there we go.
There
We can hear
got
you.
back.
It stopped when you said it's targeted for everybody.
Yes, it's targeted for gingers, but it works for everybody. That's basically
it works for everybody.
6 months and older.
Okay, great. And I love that you're a social responsible company, you know, with the aluminum cans, and it could be recyclable, and that you don't have any phthalates involved in it, and you've taken it that far to understand, because, you know, where I work, we also have to be worried about phthalates in our product. And, you know, I'm glad that you're taking it that far, because it, you know, it takes a lot of work to determine that. And, you know, it just sounds like a, you know, great product, and I wish you success. You know, I love that you're able to pitch it without a presentation and explain. You can't hear.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it cut out right after you said about phthalates, that you guys also have phthalates you have to worry about phthalates in your business, and then it cut out. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we have to worry about phthalates, and it takes a lot of testing and money to prove, you know, that you're meeting a limit.
All right. I think we're having some connectivity issues, Skyler.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I can hear you now.
That's okay. What I would say is, judges, if you could, if Matt and Sherry, if maybe you want to provide your comments here in the chat, we'll be sure to give those over to you, Skyler, and give you the recording as well, so that you can hear everything that Tom has to share. But really appreciate you taking the time to pitch. I love your product. I'm excited to see it on store shelves one day, and really appreciate you being here for Sip and Pitch. So thank you so much. And with that, I am going to say thank you to everyone that presented here in round 2 today of LGBT Sip and Pitch Fridays. Again, We had an amazing series of presenters with Schoolie Mitchell, Adea Security, and of course, Ginger Armor. I encourage you all to share your information in the chat. We are going to move over to community and conversation shortly, but not to put too much pressure on our judges. I would love to hear from them some closing thoughts as we wrap up today's program. So Tom, I'm going to start with you because I know Matt and Sherry are busy collecting their thoughts right now. Any thoughts as you think about all the presentations you've heard today? Any words of advice that you might want to give to any of the business owners on the line today that are listening in?
I think like I said, when I first started, I'm glad I'm part of this. This is the first one, and it's good to talk about things other than manufacturing and tools. But I think, all the presenters gave very good presentations. The detail was there. And I guess I have no other recommendations at this point. Sorry, I don't have more. But I thought it was very good, and follow what the other two judges recommended also.
Tom, thank you. I'm so glad you could join for your first sip and pitch, and we hope this certainly isn't your last one. And thanks so much for sharing your time and your feedback with our businesses today. Matt, I'm going to put you on the spot for any closing thoughts you might have for the group. Again, same sort of question. Any thoughts, insights after hearing everyone today? Any words of advice you might want to give the business owners on the line?
I mean, as my first one as well, and this was like a great experience. I loved like every idea that came across the board today. Like there's some great, amazing ideas. I'm so glad to see there's so many different LGBT community businesses that are, doing well, and a lot of them are just tackling issues that do affect the community as a whole. So I think it's great. As far as advice, no, everyone did an amazing job. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, and I think the networking is a huge part of it to help get your ideas and your businesses out there, because they all need to be out there because they were all great businesses and great ideas.
Matt, thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us. And Sherry, finally, same question to you. Any thoughts, words of advice that you have for business owners on the line today? I know you've always got wisdom to drop on our group.
I was working on Ginger Armor. I think what a lot of the presenters did today, they were really passionate about what they do, and it told very interesting stories. And I think that that's what drives excitement and interest in what you do. And if you're not passionate about what you sell, then why would somebody be interested in buying it? So understand your customer, know what keeps them up at night, come up with solutions that are better or more innovative, that offers something different, whether it's cost savings or a better product. And I think we saw that demonstrated today in some of the presentations.
Awesome, Sherry. Thank you so much. And sorry to interrupt your train of thought there as you were providing comments over to Skyler in the chat. Well, I want to say to everybody, don't go anywhere. Stick around. Community and conversation is about to begin. This is where we're all going to get to network and hang out together. I'm personally going to go pour myself a glass of wine, and we'll see you back here in about 5 minutes for community and conversation. So once again, thank you to all of our presenters today, and to our incredible judges for offering their time and support to our presenters. We look forward to seeing you back for community and conversation shortly.